Let's just be real, most people don't even realize they're being manipulated. Because it doesn't always look like the movies. It doesn't always come with shouting or toxic arguments. Sometimes it shows up as silence or guilt, or you questioning yourself more than usual. And if you don't know what to look for, it sneaks in, quietly. I've been there. This isn't theory. I'm not reading from a psychology book. I lived it. And when I finally recognized what was happening, it made me sick. Not just because someone did it to me, but because I let it happen for so long. So in this video, I'm going to break down 3 deep manipulation tactics, not the surface stuff everyone talks about, the real psychological plays people use to gain control without you even noticing. Let's get into it. Trick number 1, identity chipping. This one's subtle. It doesn't start with insults or direct attacks. In fact, it usually starts with compliments. They learn who you are, what you're proud of, what makes you feel strong or capable, and then over time, they start quietly chipping away at it. Let's say you're someone who's creative. Maybe you write, paint, make music, whatever. In the beginning, they'll praise it, support it, even brag about you to others. Then one day it shifts. Not suddenly, slowly. Maybe they say something like, "You've been spending a lot of time on that lately. Do you think it's actually going anywhere?" Or, "You're good at it, but a lot of people are. What makes you different, really?" It sounds casual. It sounds like concern, but it plants a seed. And if you let it grow, you start questioning yourself. You start pulling back, and little by little, you become smaller than you were. They chip away at your confidence until you're a quieter, more controllable version of yourself. Sometimes they even compare you to others. My friend's partner does that too, but they're making real money with it. You used to be more fun. Remember when you didn't take all this so seriously? These comments seem harmless alone, but together, they create a slow erosion of your self-worth. How to spot it? You start feeling less confident in things you used to love. You catch yourself shrinking, second-guessing, pulling back from things that used to feel natural. You notice their support fades as you start to feel more unsure. You realize you don't talk about your passions around them anymore. It just doesn't feel worth it. How I got out. I started writing down my wins, not for the world. For me, I tracked the things I was proud of, even small stuff. Over time, that became evidence, and evidence is louder than doubt. I also paid attention to who did light up when I shared something I was proud of. Those people, they became my compass. Real support feels consistent, not conditional. Trick number 2, mental fogging. This one's brutal. Manipulators know you can't fight what you can't see clearly, so they create fog. They overload you with contradictions. They change stories. They rewrite history in small ways, so you're not sure what actually happened. One week they tell you they hate drama. Next week they're creating it. One day they support your decisions. The next day they guilt you for making them. They shift tones, moods, boundaries. And you're stuck constantly trying to figure out what the rules are. It makes you mentally tired. And when your brain is tired, it's easier to control. This isn't accidental. It's called cognitive fatigue. It's how cults work. It's how toxic leaders hold power. Eventually, you stop trusting your own memory. You second-guess conversations. You wonder if you're the one being too sensitive. Worse, they might deny ever saying something that they clearly said. Or they'll say, "That's not what I meant," or "You took it the wrong way." It forces you to doubt your reality. And if they can control your reality, they can control you. Real case study, United States. I witnessed this because it's my job. A case came out of Texas involving a woman named Sarah who had been in a relationship with a man who systematically used mental fogging tactics. According to court documents and interviews, the man would regularly rewrite conversations they had, claiming she never told him things that were in texts or accusing her of forgetting major plans he insisted they made. Over time, she began keeping a private journal, writing down everything, dates, times, what was said, just to try to feel grounded. He accused her of being paranoid when she brought up inconsistencies. Eventually, she started to isolate from friends because she couldn't tell who to believe anymore. When it escalated to verbal abuse and control over finances, she finally got out. But to this day, she says the scariest part wasn't the shouting, it was how foggy her mind had become, how unsure she was of her own memory. That's the power of this tactic, how to spot it. You feel constantly confused around them. Even when you're not arguing, you start relying on them to interpret what's happening. You feel like you're walking on eggshells, unsure of what version of them you'll get. Your mind feels foggy. You can't think clearly when they're around. They change their narrative depending on who they're talking to. What helped me? I got honest about the chaos. I started writing down exact things they said, dates, details, and when I looked back, the contradictions were obvious. It wasn't me. It was the fog. I also stopped explaining myself. Manipulators love to argue over technicalities and twist your words. Once I saw that, I realized silence was sometimes more powerful than engagement. Clarity kills control. Trick number 3, moral framing. This is next level. Some manipulators don't want to look like the bad guy. So instead of controlling you with fear or guilt, they control you with morality. They make everything sound like it's about being a good person. You bring up a boundary, they say, "I just think we should care more, not less." Don't you believe in empathy? You call out something they did that hurt you? Wow, I would never attack you like that. I guess I just choose kindness. They frame their behavior as pure and yours as selfish, cold, or cruel. It's manipulative because it shifts the conversation away from what happened to what kind of person you are. It's not about fairness, it's about image. This is how they control the narrative. They stay calm while you get frustrated. They appear composed while you look defensive. Suddenly, people start to wonder if you are the problem. They weaponize virtue. Things like kindness, empathy, forgiveness, all good things, are used as tools to make you feel bad for defending yourself. How to spot it? You feel guilty for expressing basic needs or boundaries. You're constantly defending your intentions instead of the facts. They always sound calm, collected, morally right, even when they're wrong. You feel like they win every argument just by acting more decent. How I broke it. I stopped explaining myself to people who twist everything. You don't need to prove you're a good person to someone who keeps moving the goalposts. If someone makes you feel small while pretending to be kind, that's not morality. That's manipulation. Eventually, I realized when someone uses morality to shut down conversation, it's not about right or wrong, it's about control. A healthy person won't punish you for having boundaries. They'll respect them. The hardest part about deep manipulation is that it doesn't feel like abuse at first. It feels like confusion, like guilt, like maybe you are the one messing up, but you're not. You're just waking up to it. These people don't need to raise their voice to control you. All they need is access to your doubt. If they can shape how you see yourself, they don't need to do anything else. You'll shrink on your own, but once you see the pattern, once you start naming what they're doing, you get your power back. Not all at once, but piece by piece. Start there. And if any of this hit home, you're not alone. Drop a comment if you've seen this kind of thing before. Not for views, not for likes, just so someone else scrolling might see it and feel less crazy. Because you're not crazy, you're just starting to see clearly. Stay sharp, take your power back.